There was something about the way the other members of the Watch looked at me that let me know that no matter how innocent I was still stained with suspicion. Still, I'll take the stains of suspicion over the tarnish of guilt. Suspicion was easier to wash out. Sometimes I think I'd just give up and crawl inside a whiskey bottle. Except that you can only do that if you are less than 1 inch high.
I'm pretty sure that every update so far has begun in this very room. I haven't planned it that way, but it's just how it's worked out.
Doesn't look like I'm too welcome around here. Of course, I haven't been welcome here since I got kicked off the force, but at least then they just thought I was corrupt. Now they think I'm a murderer.
Nah, Luton, you've got it all wrong. They don't think you're a murderer. They think...
That my personal hygiene is appalling?
No.
That I have the Clatchian plague?
No.
Face it, they think I'm a murderer.
You know, give me a minute, I'll think of something.
Nobby, you've never thought of something printable in your entire life. Why should you start now? Did anyone report a speeding carriage 3 days ago?
Funny you should ask that. Sergeant Colon was almost run down by a carriage 3 days ago. He's been going on about it ever since. Says we ought to have speed limits for carriages.
How would you tell what speed a carriage was going?
Well, a watchman's instincts are never wrong.
You could always go for a more preventative approach.
Like what?
Well, you could ban carriages altogether.
Yeah, that'd work.
Hey, you could go one step further. You could ban people from Ankh-Morpork, and then there'd be no crime at all.
Well, there'd still be the trolls and the dwarfs, and the gargoyles, and the gnomes, and the undead and the golems. Of course, the golems don't make much crime, and the gargoyles' only crime is avicide. And it's not like we're short of pigeons. But the trolls and the dwarfs, well, I mean, they make as much crime as any of the humans, maybe even more.
It's no fun when it's this easy. Like shooting fish at a barrel.
Hey?
Never mind. About this carriage the other night. Where did Colon see it?
I think he said it was headed for the Magdalen Bridge.
It wasn't much of a lead, but at least it was something. Usually you could only get a lead out of Nobby with a scalpel. Tell me more about these counterweight killings.
I'm not really sure I should, Luton. Sorry.
Come on, Nobby. You can trust me.
Well, no. Look, Luton, I can't tell you.
Why not? Shouldn't I know?
It's not to be discussed with anyone who's not part of the case.
Ah, I see. Well, that makes sense. Obviously, you wouldn't want people not involved with the case learning about it.
Exactly.
And I'm the prime suspect in that case, right?
Well, you're the prime suspect in the Mundy case. But the prime suspect in the counterweight killings is that foreign spy who's been killing all the prominent people. Like that bloke up at Unseen University and that fellow in the Patrician's Palace.
Right. Well, I won't ask any more questions then, seeing as how I shouldn't.
Thank you, Luton. I appreciate it.
It's a shame that Nobby could not tell us any information. Maybe we'll find out from someone else.
I take it I'm still the prime suspect for Mundy's murder.
Afraid so, Luton.
I take it you realize that Mundy was hung upside down from the rafters.
Well, yes, of course. Yes. Hung upside down. Yeah.
I can't believe that the person doing the most work on this case is also the prime suspect. I'm looking for a dwarf named Reagan. He's been missing.
Missing? What kind of missing? Missing for a few hours? Missing person? Missing in the shades? Help me out here, will you?
Missing person, I guess.
How long's he been missing?
3 days.
3 days? You've got to be kidding. That barely counts as a hangover in Ankh-Morpork, let alone a missing person case.
How long would he have to be missing, then?
I'd say at least 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
Of course, it'd depend on who he was. If the patrician went missing for 3 hours, it'd warrant an investigation.
Justice for some, eh?
Alright, let's go and check out this Maudlin Bridge. But before we do, it seems like the milker has departed.
When the milker left, someone must have left one of the mooring lines behind. That was careless. Some people will steal anything. If I pride myself on anything, it's that I don't steal without a good reason. Well, I don't steal rope without a good reason.
This is a bit of a weird one, as it's rope. In any adventure game, you pick up the rope. But for some reason, we actually have to use the grappling hook on the mooring line to pick it up.
Some people will steal anything, and that includes me, it seems.
I can't see why we couldn't just combine them in the inventory. But never mind.
The Maudlin Bridge was one of 10 bridges that linked the city of Ankh to the city of Morpork. It was an unremarkable structure, most famous for the number of suicides it attracted. The trouble with trying to drown yourself in the Ankh is that you're more likely to break a leg falling onto the thick crust of the river than actually come near any water. Still, if you were heavy enough, you could eventually sink into the depths. I can think of nicer ways to go, though, and much quicker ones, too. Something had clearly lost control on the bridge. Something with wheels. Beyond that, it was difficult to say. I wasn't about to scrape the marks off the bridge.
Why not?
Some fabric had caught on the railings of the bridge. I'd found some fabric caught on the railings of the Maudlin Bridge. It was distinctive enough that I hoped someone would recognize it.
Did this belong to Reagan or whoever caused the accident?
The railings had been damaged. There was no telling when they'd become damaged, though. It wasn't as if I came this way every day. I doubt many people did. I wasn't strong enough to bend the railings back into shape, and frankly, what would be the point?
If the carriage did go this way, then surely the carriage is down here? Somewhere in the River Ankh? Can we climb down?
I suppose I could have attached the grapple to the railings and rappelled down to the River Ankh. But that was a dangerous way of searching the river. I had a feeling there was a better way to use the grapple to search the river.
There is.
There was something down there. I was sure of it. But I wasn't strong enough to pull it up.
We're not strong enough, but we know someone who is. Where has Roden gone? The milker's left, Roden's gone. Who else has disappeared?
Well, I'm back. For a brief moment, I considered trying to make small talk with Malachite. Then I came to my senses. You just can't get talk that small. I knew that there was something in the river, but I hadn't the strength to pull whatever it was to the surface. Listen carefully, Malachite. I've been patient with you, and you owe me a favor. I need you to use the grapple to pull something out of the River Ankh. I don't know for sure what it is, but it's big. Too big for me to lift. But you could do it, and I figure you owe me one.
Found Therma?
Look, Therma is dead. Remember? We found her in the mausoleum.
Not Therma. Therma alive. Find Therma.
Look, she is dead. Get used to it.
Not dead. Find Therma.
All right, you big dumb troll. I'll carry on looking for Therma if you help me get this thing out of the river. Do we have a deal?
I pull thing. You find Therma.
Yes. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Or something. Whatever you want scratched, within reason.
Don't want scratching. Find Therma.
Okay. You pull thing, I find Therma. Got it?
Need grapple.
That may be the first intelligent thing you've said to me. Ready now?
You lead.
With pleasure. I hadn't been able to move whatever it was in the river. Malachite pulled it up onto the bridge like it was made of paper. I wasn't surprised to learn it was Reagan's carriage, but it still wasn't clear how it ended up going off the bridge. Amidst the wreckage, I found a small ornamental box. But before I could examine it in detail, Malachite took an interest. I didn't want to give it to him, but he looked like he'd rupture a fault line if I didn't. He kept insisting that the box proved that Therma was alive, or at least that's my best interpretation of what he was trying to say. With his usual annoying habit, Malachite just walked off, taking the box with him. That left me to get back to my usual habit of not really knowing what was going on.
Should we report Malachite to the yard? Hopefully we will see Malachite again soon.
The carcass of Reagan's carriage lay on the bridge like a beached whale. I searched it, but I'd already found everything of interest. The remains of a crate was all that was left. There was no doubt that it was Reagan, and there was no doubt that he was dead. The poor sap must have suffocated in the Ankh. I searched Reagan's body, but all I found was a pair of tiny bite marks on his ankle. Either he'd been bitten by a snake or a very small vampire.
Then surely he would have turned by now. There is one thing that we need to do here. If we take a look at this photograph, Reagan has no hair. But this character here does have hair. So we need to compare the photo with Reagan.
One thing had been bugging me since I'd found Reagan's body. In the iconograph that the Count had given me, Reagan was bald. Here, in the flesh, Reagan had a full head of hair. I had to pull hard on his toupee to get it off. Reagan must have glued it on to stop it from flying off as he drove the carriage. Underneath the toupee was a small key. I guess it must have been important, or he wouldn't have glued it to his head.
We are done here. It's now time to visit Saturnalia.
Saturnalia was almost legendary. The upmarket casino was situated on the King's Way and was frequented by the rich members of Ankh's high society and hopeful social climbers from Morpork. It was a temple to pride, greed, and avarice. And like any temple, anyone with money was welcome.
We can't even examine the outside of the building. We can examine the River Ankh, but it's the same description as always.
The last person I wanted to see was Death himself, waiting to take me to whatever hell awaits a failure like me. But after Death, Ilsa was a close second. My eyes were drawn to her the moment I entered the room, and I decided then and there that I wasn't going to talk to her. The next thing I remember, I was talking to her.
Hello, Luton. Still mad at me?
As soon as I learn how to offer forgiveness, you'll be the first one to receive it.
This is my companion, Two Conkers.
Pleased to be meeting you. You are Remora Salachi. Not the last time I checked.
This is Luton. He's an old friend of mine.
Why did he think I was Remora Salachi?
We're supposed to be meeting him here.
What do you want with an assassin like Remora?
What are you talking about?
I looked around to see Remora drawing a weapon. Assassins are damn good at what they do, but they're not allowed to kill innocent bystanders. I didn't know if it was bravery or stupidity, but I decided to stand between Remora and his target. Interrupting an assassin while he was working was a risky business, so I decided to ambush Remora with the old only answer questions with questions routine. Why did you try to kill that woman?
Why does any assassin try to kill someone?
Who put a contract out on Ilsa?
Don't you know better than to interfere in official guild business?
Why would anyone want to kill Ilsa?
Do you expect me to discuss a confidential case with you?
What do you want from me, Remora?
A swift death and a cheap funeral.
Ha! You lose! That wasn't a question, that was a statement. You're getting sloppy.
You're lucky we're only allowed to kill for money, because I'd take you out for free, Luton.
I'd managed to embarrass Remora in front of a crowd of social notables, and that was bad news. It was bad enough that I had the watch breathing down my neck without the Assassin's Guild baying for my blood. Fortunately, there was nothing they could do to me unless someone paid for a contract on me. Actually, that wasn't strictly true. They could tie me up and torture me for days if they wanted to, just as long as I didn't die. It wasn't a comforting thought.
Who was the woman?
Carlotta, what are you doing here?
I like to take risks. Isn't that what life is for?
I've taken enough risks to last a lifetime.
You didn't answer my question, you know. Who was the woman?
Ilsa, why do you want to know? Jealous? Afraid you might have a rival?
All women are rivals, Luton.
She's not important.
I see. If you decide to be honest with me, I'll be around.
It was the most unsettled I'd seen Carlotta get. I guess there was a heart in that cold chest after all.
Why does Luton think that Ilsa was the target? The target could have been Two Conkers. And why is this guy spinning this wheel when there was no customers there?
The noble game of craps. Played with 3 8-sided dice, it had been played on the cobbles of Ankh-Morpork for decades. I guess that's where the name came from. I didn't feel like craps. A roulette table sat in one corner of the casino, but it didn't keep my attention. I really didn't want to play. Carlotta didn't strike me as the gambling kind, but then with her look she could probably gamble with other people's money. Personally, I thought that took the edge out of the experience, but I doubt she cared. The woman's name is Ilsa. She and I used to be close. It's over.
Why are you telling me this?
I thought you might want to know.
How is the case going?
Badly. Mundy's dead.
Dead?
Yeah, dead. Murdered. And not a pretty sight. I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'll survive. You could have chosen a nicer way to tell me.
I thought you might appreciate me getting straight to the point. Do you want me to stay on the case?
Is there still a case?
I thought perhaps you might like to know who killed Mundy and why.
Yes, I owe him that. You can continue with the case, Luton.
Do you want to know what happened with Mundy?
That's what I'm paying you for, isn't it?
Is it? I'm starting to wonder.
Don't you like me, Luton?
What's not to like? You're a woman like any other.
Do you look down on all women, or just the ones you know?
I have plenty of distaste to go around. Have you heard of the counterweight killings?
No.
Mundy's murder looks like a counterweight killing.
Oh, I'm thrilled.
The person who killed Mundy hung him upside down and poked his eyes out. Can you think of any reason they might have done that?
What? No. Why should I?
Well, you knew Mundy. I didn't. I thought you might have an insight on it that I didn't.
That's one hell of an accusation.
Did you kill Mundy?
What? What do you think I am, Luton?
It's got nothing to do with what I think of you, Carlotta. But the Watch are investigating, and if they find out about your connection with Mundy, you're bound to be a suspect.
So why are you asking me if I did it?
Let's just call it professional curiosity.
If I had done it, would you turn me in?
That depends.
On what?
On why you did it.
You don't strike me as a moralist, Luton.
I'm a simple man, Carlotta. I have simple ideas of what's right and what's wrong. The trouble is, things are seldom that simple. It's always somewhere in the middle ground. I try not to jump to conclusions. In my line of work, that can get you killed.
That must be a tremendous incentive to think everything through.
I do my best. You still haven't answered my question.
I didn't kill him, Luton, if that's what you really want to know.
Do you have an alibi? I told her when the murder took place and asked her if she had an alibi. I wasn't surprised when she did. Frankly, I reckon I could have said any day and any time, and she'd have had an alibi. She was that kind of woman.
There are witnesses who can corroborate where I was.
And where were you?
I was in the Temple of Small Gods.
Spend a lot of time on your knees, do you, sister?
We all need a little absolution.
For your sins?
Everything I do is a sin in someone's eyes.
We don't have the, well, iconograph anymore.
Reagan's dead.
I'm not surprised.
You don't seem to care.
Everybody dies, Luton. Mundy, Reagan, even you.
What's your point?
No point. That's just life.
I believe that is it for now. Yes, let's say goodbye to Carlotta.
I've got things to do. I'll see you around, Carlotta. The game Whirl was croupier for used a Carrack deck, the distilled wisdom of the ancients painted onto cards. I didn't need any of the cards, although I would have liked a few to decorate my office. Maybe the Ace of Octograms, the Inquisitor, the Exquisitor, and the irritating habit of finishing off other people's sentences. The croupier at the truncheon table was a man named Whirl. Whirl didn't give anything away for free. What's the game?
Truncheon. Interested, stranger?
The name's Luton. What are the stakes?
Minimum stake is $1 a hand. House limit is 10,000 per hand.
I'm in. Here's my dollar.
Hey, big spender.
Whirl told me how to play the game. Something to do with the Major Arcana and the Private Arcana. The Major Arcana had strange names like the Fool, the Pyrophant, and the unbelievable expense of a slice of cheese. Essentially, it seems I just had to stay under 21 and get as high as I could. It all seems pretty whimsical to me.
It's a whimsical world.
What happens in a tie?
I win.
That doesn't seem fair.
I'll note that down in the complaints book, shall I? Player thinks the odds might be stacked in favour of the house.
I didn't really know what I was doing, but I expected to lose my dollar anyway, so I didn't worry about it. But someone else at the table seemed pretty worked up about what I was doing.
That isn't the way to play it.
Why not?
Because it isn't the way to win.
Is there a way to win?
Well, there's a way to lose more slowly.
What's it to you?
I've seen enough losing. I don't want to see any more.
I only bet $1.
No, it's the principle of the thing.
What do you think?
I'm just a croupier. I'm not paid to think.
I lost my $1, but I reckon I got value for money. And hey, the cards were pretty. Do you own this place?
Saturnalia? No, you gotta be kidding.
Who owns it?
I don't really know. Probably a whole group of people. For all I know, no one owns it, and it just keeps ticking over all on its own.
Is that likely?
Frankly, I don't really care. Long as I get paid, it's all the same to me.
Don't you have an inquisitive mind?
No, I find people with inquisitive minds don't live too long.
Surely he has met a manager or the owner at some point. How did he get a job here?
I was told that I'd find a certain troll's body in the Salachi mausoleum. Only when I got there, it wasn't the right body. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
You went rooting around in the Salachi family mausoleum. Hey, leave me out of this, Luton.
Do you know a troll named Sapphire?
Oh, I'm just a simple croupier. I wouldn't know anything important. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't give it away for nothing.
I guess you don't like to give away anything for free.
When you've worked in a casino as long as I have, you learn that you don't get anything for nothing.
Alright, how much?
Do you know what this is?
It looks like a purse.
I think I have something of yours in it.
Really? Oh yes, so you do. And what do you know, my memory is suddenly much improved.
I thought it might be. Now your pockets are a little fuller. Does this key mean anything to you?
Yeah, I know what it is. It's a safety deposit key for the boxes here in Saturnalia.
Thanks. You know a troll named Sapphire, don't you?
Yeah, I know Sapphire. She's a good customer. Always plays with cash. Never wins anything. Some trolls aren't born lucky, I guess.
She never wins?
She wins a little, but she always loses it again. She can't hold on to money. Few people can in this place. By the time she walks out the doors, she's always a loser.
Is there any chance she could have won big and you wouldn't know about it?
If she won it here, I'd know about it.
Anything more you can tell me about Sapphire's losing streak?
What's to tell? That troll holds on to money like a drunken dwarf holds on to his temper.
Have you heard of the counterweight killings?
Sure, and I only have one thing to say about them. I'll place good money that the patrician's next.
Any reason?
Just a hunch.
I doubt it. But, I guess, you gotta take a risk.
Do you know Carlotta?
Well enough.
She's a regular here.
Oh yeah, she likes to come in every once in a while. She usually ends up betting with somebody else's money, and she never loses control.
What do you mean?
Well, you can win or lose in a single game. That's just the way it is. But sooner or later, people lose control and bet all they have left. And then that's it. For most of them, they don't care. Mostly they're just big shots with more money than sense who like the glamour of Saturnalia. Some of them are hopefuls who can't afford to lose the money they've wagered. But those that are really good at the game, they never lose control. They know just when to play and just when to quit.
And Carlotta's one of them?
Carlotta is always in control.
I believe that's all that we can ask him right now.
Time to excuse myself from the table, I think.
That reminds me, there was one thing that I needed to ask Carlotta.
Still here?
Here's as good as anywhere.
Does this coin mean anything to you?
Nothing springs to mind.
It was Mondays.
It still doesn't mean anything to me.
Alright, well,
I've got things to do. I'll see you around, Carlotta.
that was a slight waste of time, but never mind. How come we can't talk to this guy here? From this screen.
Can we talk, or do I have to play that stupid game again?
Business is slow, we can talk.
Time to excuse myself from the table, I think. Warb was the most depressed and jumpy wizard I'd met. Maybe hanging around a casino did that to a man.
I should have spoken to War before I went back to Carlotta, but never mind.
You seem to get worked up over my gambling.
I'm not as easygoing as I used to be.
You're a wizard?
Wow, you're sharp. What tipped you off? The gown? The arcane symbols?
Look, I just thought you might want to talk. You tried to help me at the table, and I thought I'd make amends for being so rude to you. Sorry I tried.
No, wait. I'm like, sorry, friend. It's just, I'm on edge.
The name's Luton.
I'm sorry. We haven't been properly introduced. My name is Warb. B-L-L.
B-L-L?
Well, Bachelor of Eldritch Lace Making.
Eldritch lace making?
Don't ask.
Warb sounds very much like Neil.
You a regular in here, then?
I guess so. I'm not very lucky.
I thought all wizards were lucky.
Whatever gave you that impression? Do you know how many bizarre and unpleasant ways there are for a wizard to die inside the walls of Unseen University alone? One false invocation as you're summoning a demon, and bang! You're lunch for some pit fiend with more tentacles than legs and fewer arms than heads. Or spend too long in the wrong area of the library, and poof, you disappear. All that you leave behind is a statistic.
Don't you like being a wizard? It always seemed like a glamorous profession to me.
There's nothing glamorous about wizardry. Well, except for glamours.
Glamours?
It's an elvish thing.
Well, thank you very much. If you're so unlucky, why do you come here?
I haven't lived a lucky life, but, well, I don't know. I guess I feel that in here, I at least have a chance.
But the odds are always stacked against you. The house always has the advantage.
Let me tell you something, Luton. The house always has the advantage. Here, out there, it doesn't make any difference. At least in here, you know who the house is.
That's a pretty stark outlook.
Ever made a decision that affected your whole life? Ever done something that throws everything into question?
No, I don't feel in that much control of my life.
None of us are.
So you work up at Unseen University.
I was trained there. Once I got my degree, I moved on.
But you're still a wizard. I thought all you guys were under the jurisdiction of the university.
Yeah, I work for Unseen Securities now.
Unseen Securities?
Yeah, we make magical security systems. Very exclusive.
Are they expensive?
Oh, yeah. Hardly anyone can afford our services.
Do you know Carlotta?
No, I guess I don't.
What's that supposed to mean?
Forget it.
Heard of the counterweight killings?
I heard someone in Unseen University got killed by a spy, but I don't really, know anything about it, you know?
Do you know a troll called Sapphire?
I've seen her around, but I don't really know her.
Seen her here?
Oh, yeah. She's sometimes here. She never looks very happy, though.
Is your bad luck common knowledge?
Well, pretty much everyone knows I've got a losing streak.
Anyone else famous for their losing streak?
Well, the Sapphire. She's not very lucky. Other than that, no one springs to mind.
Maybe I'll see you later.
Let's go and confront Sapphire. She is famous for having a losing streak, yet she suddenly has lots of money.